game is currently in a delay because there is a student protest sit-in at midfield on climate policy.
Harvard and Yale, two fierce rivals in the Ivy League, came together to demand change and make their voices heard through action. During halftime, the activists went on the field of play and united as one cohesive unit. At its peak, the demonstration drew up to 500 people, packing about 45 yards of play. This is an emergency, read one banner. Yale and Harvard are complicit in climate injustice, read another. Protesters from both schools called on the universities to divest their multi-million-dollar endowments from fossil fuels companies, as well as companies that hold Puerto Rican debt.
Cancel the debt! 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 Cancel the debt!
Thus, chants like these rang out. And chants like these. Harvard's endowment is $39.2 billion, which stands as the largest in the world. Yale sits at $29.4 billion. As Vox reports, both schools are invested in businesses that contribute to climate change but are unwilling to disclose just how much, which is quite odd. The activists want their universities to fess up to what they're investing in, and if it's fossil fuels, they want the fund managers to withdraw those investments. What exactly are these schools hiding? And why won't they divest, as the activists chant, to help save our planet? Recently, Yale was in hot water over a $122 million investment in a fracking-related company, Antero, a natural gas and oil company. In March, Yale sold 99% of its direct investment holdings, complicitly implicating our planet's health for profit. This is the crux of the protest.
At this moment, both of our institutions continue to invest in the industries destroying our futures. And when it comes to the climate crisis, no one wins,
said Wesley Ogsbury, captain of the Harvard football team.
Yale and Harvard have a responsibility to divest from the fossil fuel industry and cancel Puerto Rican debt. Institutions with great influence need to set an example. This is an emergency, and it's time they act like it.
Devin Moore, a senior on Yale's football team, backed the protest. Same with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, presidential candidate Elizabeth Warren, Carmen Yulín Cruz, mayor of San Juan, Puerto Rico, and presidential candidate Bernie Sanders all backed the protest via social media.
Cancel the debt! Cancel the debt! Cancel the debt! Cancel the debt! Cancel the debt!
Meanwhile, Harvard continues to deflect. While we agree on the urgency of this global challenge, we respectfully disagree with divestment activists on the means by which a university should confront it. Harvard has been taken to court by its own students and received backlash from graduates Natalie Portman, Cornel West, and Robert Kennedy Jr., to name a few, for the school's role in climate change, demanding Harvard set an example by winding down its direct investments in coal, oil, and gas companies thought to be worth at least $79 million. It is believed indirect investments in fossil fuels are much greater. Personally, my favorite is the common "do it elsewhere" defense. It's regrettable that the orchestrated protests came during a time when fellow students were participating in a collegiate career-defining contest and an annual tradition, said Yale spokeswoman Karen Pert, to which I asked Karen, if you value the prestige of this game, wouldn't you appreciate ensuring it occurs every year by taking on climate change more seriously and not blaming the students for just wanting to live? Keep this in perspective. ESPN's president, Jimmy Pitaro, wants to keep politics out of sports, an insane mission as the two are forever intertwined. However, when has ESPN ever touched on climate change? Would they cover football players protesting on their own time? Of course not. Throughout time, acts of protest are lightning rod moments where the selfless surrender to whatever consequences they face for making an impactful change for the betterment of society. These students are patriots. Demanding action on the climate crisis is not only necessary, but the only right way of thinking. I applaud to competitive schools joining forces to bring awareness to this issue. If you'd like to hear more thought-provoking content like TYT Sports on Facebook and to help in my journey to keep media independent, go to tyt.com/Rick.